All my life I had been taught about the rapture, and it talks about being caught away in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. And I thought that happened before the tribulation. All my life I was taught that. Well, the preachers that taught me that did not really have the Spirit of God. Anyway, so how could I expect them to really know what they're talking about? You got to be inspired by God to really understand the Word. But anyway, the thing that really changed my mind on that was in Revelation, where they got, they're talking about the mark of the beast and everything that's going to come upon us, and then you got people being beheaded. You got people being beheaded for the testimony they held in Jesus Christ. So if that's true, there wasn't a tribulation. There wasn't a rapture till after the tribulation. So the Christians and everything go through the tribulation, or they wouldn't have them be beheaded. You understand? So if there was a rapture before the tribulation, you wouldn't have people being beheaded after the tribulation. So it don't make sense. It don't make sense that there's a pre-tribulation rapture. And plus, Jesus said, a servant's not greater than its master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. So Christians are going to have to go through some things just like Jesus did. Just like the apostles. We're not greater than him. So anyway, that's my belief now, but I was taught the opposite my whole life. And that's hard to unteach that. I get that. It's hard for people to change their minds. But sometimes, a lot of things I was taught growing up in church just don't make sense. And they're not in the Bible. And so, but they're teaching that like it's fact, You gotta watch where you go to church, You've got a lot of people that just pretend to be godly. They have a form of godliness, but they deny the power of God. They don't know God. They don't even know God.